So our presentation today is focused on those 7 ISTE standards. So these are the 7 standards in the circle. Around the outside are what our agenda really is for today, what we're going to be talking to you about, and how you can meet those 7 standards by doing these 5 simple things. And believe it or not, probably most of you are doing them already. And if not, they're pretty simple to handle. So the first one is blogging. And some of you might go, blogging? My kids can't blog. Yes, they can. And I bet you they do, because all of you are using Seesaw and Class Dojo. Every time you have your kids take a picture or draw a picture and share it out on that Seesaw or Class Dojo with their parents or with you, they are actually blogging. They are meeting ISTE standards 6 and 7. They're communicating and they're collaborating with each other. So maybe you don't have enough devices for every student, but if you can get a hold of 1 or 2 tablets and you can have them taking pictures or recording videos and posting those out on things like Seesaw and Class Dojo, or go make your own blog. Blogger is a real simple blog to create. So you can do those kind of things. How can you take it a step further? How about some digital storytelling? So I'm going to click here, and hopefully you're seeing all of this. Are you seeing this? It flipped over? Okay. All I did was look up digital storytelling tools. Believe it or not, there are 18 free ones right here. You don't have to spend a lot of money, and you can go explore these. Some of them you might have heard of already. I'd heard of Bubbler, Picklights, I think Storybird, and Zooburst. I've heard of those. So take some time and click on that link and do a little sorting through and seeing what you have there. Boom Writer is another one. You're back on my screen, right? Oops. I'll go back. Boom Writer is one that's geared more towards the 2nd through 8th graders, where they can write a story and draw pictures and that kind of stuff. All right. So that would just, right there alone, if you're doing some of that stuff, you're already meeting 6 and 7 as far as the ISTE standards. I'm going to turn it on over to Lynn, and she's going to talk a little bit about how you can meet standard number 1, an empowered learner.
On this one, what we're talking about is how we can get the students involved with hardware or the equipment that they're going to be using. Many of them are used to a tablet or more touch devices, but how can we have them learn how to build a computer? And it doesn't have to be with a physical computer. It can be with paper. So on this one, I have a paper activity to link here. And this one is out on Teachers Pay Teachers, but there's some templates out there where you can have the little parts of the computer. So one can be the hard drive, one can be the fan, just the basic things of what's inside a computer. They can practice their cutting skills by cutting out the little pieces. You can talk about the terminology with them as far as what the pieces of the computer are and where they fit in the computer. And then you'd have, it's almost like building a mini laptop. So you put all those little pieces in, there's like 6 different pieces. The hard drive, what does the hard drive do? Where does it save the information? Put that in. Then on top of that, you're going to put a keyboard. The keyboard can be blank. It doesn't have to have letters and numbers on it, just to give them an idea how it looks. Then you can put the screen on, what goes on behind the screen. So, and if you can, maybe you have one of your tech people has some old computers laying around that we can open them up and show them. So it gives them the physical and then a paper. They can color it, paint, however they want to do it, glue it, paste it, and then have something to hang up. So it gives them a way to identify what the components are, learn what the terminology is, and then put it together, and then something for them to take away. And they can play on their little paper laptop that they just made. So a very simple activity. There was also one other website there that also had some templates out that looked like they were free. A little different layout. You can do it however you want. It's just really simple, but a way to give them the terminology and hands-on that they need to see to get them start working on different things. The second one is how to use the mouse. And that's probably the biggest thing with the kids. And that is many of them are used to touch devices at home. So now you have the left, right, do they know their finger, where to put their hands, how to develop those fine motor skills. And this is important as we start to test them when they come to school in fall for kindergarten. We do a MAPS test, and the first thing we do is have them use a mouse, which is usually the hardest thing for them to do. So if this is something that you can get them used to doing, that's fantastic. If you want to use a paint program, just have them getting used to moving around on the computer. There's a link I have here for painting with a mouse. It's by an artist who does some really current abstract type painting. It's a website you can click on. The longer you sit in a certain spot, it gives a bigger splat, different colors. It's very random. They don't have to do a lot other than move that mouse around. Another one is ABCYA, has a lot of things on their website. If you're nervous about going to a website, I know Local Father Alloway, Amy's been doing some stuff with Tux Paint. So that way we protected the students from being on a website. They were on an actual tool, and I think they do that at St. Bernard's as well. So those are different things that you can use just to get, or just plain old paint on a Windows computer. So anything that they can do just to learn how to navigate. Now, one thing, Mary can attest to this because she's left-handed. We all think that if you have a student who is left-handed, you should teach them how to use a mouse as a left-handed. And her suggestion was that you should teach them how to use it right hand, because then they can write with their actual utensil in their left hand. They can do both things. So figure out how you want, but I never thought of that because I'm not left-handed. So that might be something you want to think about too, to teach them, for those kids who are left or are still trying to figure out if they're left or right-handed, to do some things with that. So again, simple things. Google Draw is another place that you can use. So just developing those fine motor skills.
And one of the other things, a trick that I've seen that I'd never thought of before, was the mouse. How do you get the kids to know what's left and right? I've seen where teachers put little stickers on the left one, a little happy face, whatever, and they get used to that's the one that you click normally, to get to where you want to go. So just some little hints from our teachers.
Sometimes I put a little piece of that sticky tacky blue stuff so that it's tactile, so they know that's the place where their finger's supposed to go.
Yep. Good.
So again, lots of things you can do just for practicing a mouse to learn how to use a mouse. Then I have a couple other things in here for you to reference. There's a slide in videos. Maybe you're not comfortable with all the terminology of what's inside a computer. This slideshow goes through on a simple way of explaining those different pieces. So it's something for you to reference. You don't necessarily have to show it to them, but maybe that would be some way fun to educate or engage them. And then the other one I had in there, Carrie, was for what's the difference between hardware and software? That might be a little much for the littles, but I think when you start getting in the kindergarten and first grade, I think it's a really neat tool for them to understand that the computer is only, as I used to always say, as smart as the person behind it, because it won't do anything unless you tell it to do something. And then the software will take it from there. So this is a cute little cartoon that explains that for a little child. Again, probably not so much early childhood, but definitely your kindergarten and first graders would help understand, especially when you start talking the insides of the computer. This would be a nice follow-up to that. Mm-hmm. And then again, anything that you want to do when you're talking hardware and software, work with your tech courts, because they might have stuff laying around that they can really help do hands-on with students. There's lots of equipment that we can share or open up, and it's amazing how those little things, those kids, they get excited about that. So thank you for joining us on that part.
Thanks, Lynn. And our next part is safety. And that covers number 2, digital citizenship. A lot of digital citizenship has to be how to be safe. And so I'm going to turn it over to Alejandra and let her share with you her insights.
So one of the technology standards is digital citizenship. This will help students recognize rights, responsibilities, and opportunities of living, learning, and working in an interconnected digital world in ways that are safe, legal, and ethical. Big words. But it is a great opportunity to integrate these topics into your different unplugged classes, where you teach respect, with choices, being safe. You can have these topics taught in your religion class, your social studies, your health. So one example for this topic can be found at commonsense.org for educators. I personally like it as a parent as well. Lots of resources right there. So you can use your Grace account to log in and get free lessons, so which is very nice. Just to explore a little on it, I have an example to show you. This one is called My Online Neighborhood. It is a very detailed lesson. You have two options. You have the lesson that is 15 minutes long, and then you have the long version, which is the 30 minutes. But it's going to give you all the material that you need to show the lesson, to teach this lesson. It's going to give you the learning objectives, the key vocabulary, and also it gives you classroom resources. It gives you lesson slides, the video, of course, it provides the videos, handouts, coloring pages, and also it gives you take at home resources, which parents may be very thankful since kids nowadays use technology and devices at home very much. Also, it shows you the IST standards you're using. So in this case, we are using a couple of them, not just one. And let's take a look at the video, and I hope you like it. Kira, you may have to unmute yourself.
Oh, sorry. Not hearing it? Oh, no.
Well, it's going to be posted with our video, and also we're sharing this presentation with you, so you'll get all the links of the websites and all the resources we want to share with you.
I apologize. We worked really hard to try to get that to come out the right way. This is the part we don't like. So, all right. Let's get back here. So yes, definitely this will be posted. We'll make sure it's out there for you. But it's a nice little video that explains how to be safe. All right. So Alex, anything else that you have to add to that? Or
this is it for the safety.
And again, starting small, simple, in their words, so that they know what they're talking about when it comes to using the internet safely. All right. Our next one is Mary Swanson, and she's going to share with you that lovely word we call coding that everybody hears so much about, and how do you do coding with an early childhood student, with a little student, a younger student. That is definitely part of computational thinking, which is ISTE standard number 5.
I think that when I started looking at this, I thought you probably do most of these things already. You just never thought of them as coding activities. Because one of the things that was mentioned was puzzles or STEM activities or a treasure hunt or mazes. All of those things that you do normally in the classroom are also coding activities, because all they are direction following activities. And that's kind of what coding is. It's getting the computer to follow the directions you want it to do. But there are really two things: giving the directions, and then the second one, not giving up. So I think that that's a huge part of what we need to teach our littles about coding, is that you try it one way, it didn't work that way. Well, think of another way to try it, and then another way, and then another way, so you don't give up. There are a couple of different activities on the website: a maze, and then an example, a treasure hunt. I want them to look at it, because I really don't think we have the time to go through each of these. They can look at them when they look at the slideshow.
Right, and it gives you the link as to where she got the activity from besides, so that's nice.
Right. So each on the main slide, each of those things is linked to another slide so that you can see what it looks like. So there's a maze, a treasure hunt, a Lego maze, and then a sorting activity. I would recommend that the adult is always the one who follows the direction. The child is always the one who gives the direction, or at least an older student. And then the sorting activity, it talked about the things that are in your classroom, if they have to get put back, all of the things that have letters go in one spot, all the things that are blue go in another spot. And not only is that teaching coding because you're following conditions that things need to go into, it's also getting your room cleaned. It's a really good thing. So any
Good
kind
trick.
of activity you do, any kind of maze activity, any kind of treasure hunt, all of those things are coding activities. And my guess is you do those already. You just never thought of them as coding activities.
And of course, for those of you who want to try something different, there are games that you can actually purchase. One we found was the Robot Turtles, which is a game that can be played, and it is about giving those directions. And you start out simple and you add blocks and you add all kinds of different things. And then code.org is a really big program out there that you can get involved with that has unplugged activities and actual online activities for them to do. Anything else, Mary? You got it. All right. So then that takes us to, so we've covered actually 6 of the standards already. The last standard, number 3, which is the knowledge constructor. Again, here's a simple way, virtual field trips. And I am guessing that you have probably explored those and come up with those this year because we haven't been able to take our kids places. Almost any field trip that you can do in person, you can also do virtually. And just, again, I have a link here to a website that shows you 40 different virtual field trips you can take from the couch, as they call it. So you can go browse through that and see what you can find that might be something that your kids might be interested in. The other one is Google and Culture. It used to be called Google Expeditions. I don't know if any of you have heard of this, but it's part of our Google system. This is really cool, and I have just touched the tip of the iceberg on this. These 360-degree videos, you can go in here and you can view things at a 360-degree angle, and you can move them around. It's really kind of cool to watch those going. And then you also have, you can just nearby, I thought this was kind of neat, nearby, because we're in Green Bay, it shows you places that are near to us, and you can click on them and it actually zooms in and shows you where it is, and you can get closer. And in some cases, you can actually see the outline of it. So those kind of things to get them started. But it's a lot of fun. I just wanted to show you one where you can do the 360. So it was under home. If I go to home, it gives you examples. So you have your artwork that you can look at. Here are some museums you can explore. A glacier. If you go into that picture, you can turn it 360 degrees. There's some performance things you can try, and then games that you can also play. But for instance, you can go take them into a museum. And what's really cool is that if you go into the right spot, oops, I got to click down here. You kind of have to figure out how to get there. There are areas down below where, like, you can actually, you move it. You click on it and you can move it around and show them different places. So think of how it can almost be like being there, which is really cool. Then the other things are stream activities. That's standard number 4, an innovative designer. STEM, or stream as we call it. These are, again, 3 links to websites that have simple activities. Again, they're geared towards the preschool level, but there's no reason why you couldn't add a little element of difficulty to make it. But, you know, things that you're going to have around that you can use with the kids that are simple and easy and are meeting that standard of becoming innovative designers. So a lot of things, and there's 2 more there for you to look at. All right, so that covers them all. That's your 7 ISTE standards, and I think we've given you, most of this you probably already do. Or if you don't, they're not that difficult to be able to work with for the students. Just a reminder to you that the GRACE website is out there, and I want to just take you out and show you that just recently we updated our in-services and training section. I have the word new next to it because we've now added all of the videos and things that you've had at your in-services throughout this year. So this is the classroom, link to the Google Classroom where you did those 6 lessons to get your certification. If you haven't done it yet, you still can. These are our 5 presentations from January. And then here's our first Tech Talk the other week. and then we'll be putting our second one in here. So we'll just keep adding to that for you. And then the other thing is our YouTube channel. We do have a YouTube channel, and we also post everything there so that you can find all of those videos out here also if you'd rather go that way. So just remember, we keep putting those resources out for you. If there's anything you'd like to be added to those resources, let us know, because we want to make sure we're providing for you what you need. And obviously, wow, we did pretty good. We're 3 minutes before the end. So we do have a 3-minute Q&A time if you want. Notice here that there is 2 more Tech Talks planned for the rest of the year. And the next one is interactive boards and how to use those with students. And we're talking smart boards, we're talking view boards, we're talking Clever Touch, Clear Touch. You hear all those names, they're all interactive boards. And there's different activities that you can do with that. And then in May, we're looking at finding some new things that maybe you haven't heard about yet that are, especially in Google, there's things that will be coming out in the fall that you can start exploring over the summer. Just getting you set up for, hey, maybe when I'm out of, the kids are gone and I have some time, I can go out and do a little more exploring. All right, so let's talk Q&A. Anybody have a specific question, or were there any that were in the chat that you'd like to hear about? Do you need any clarification on anything? You're all so quiet. You look like you're ready to go. Like, can we just leave? Remember, we'll put the video out there. Thank you, whoever started recording for me, because I forgot to do that. Had to be one of my teammates that remembered. So hopefully you got the whole thing in there. And then we will also post the presentation slides out there for you. Okay. Any questions, or are we good? Sounds like we might be good. Yes? All right. Thank you guys for coming. We'll hope to see you, and let us know what else we can do for you. You know how to get a hold of us. Help desk at graysystem.org. You can ask questions there or contact any of us individually. We'd be